James Lynch and Adam Martin here for Spectation Sports. We got an awesome card coming up here. May 21st, Maverick MMA 19. Maverick's a great promotion if you haven't been following them along. And we're going to be breaking down, like I said, the card, which is going down at the Split Rock Resort in Lake Harmony, Pennsylvania. Haven't been there, but it sounds great. Adam, just how excited are you for this card? We got a UFC vet headlining it.
Yeah, man. Actually, I think this main event's awesome between Oluwale Bangbute and Stephen Regman. It's a mouthful to say that name, but yeah, I mean, obviously a very explosive guy. And Regman's also a Contender Series veteran too. So UFC vet versus Contender Series vet, that's a great fight. And then obviously you have two amateur title fights, James, including Julian Reza, who's a main training partner of Glover Teixeira. So that's going to be really interesting to see him getting a step up in competition. And then you got the other women's strawweight championship on the line too. So pretty good card, James. And like I said, that main event should be a really good fight.
Let's start with the women's fight, like you referenced there. Brooke Fae taking on Ashley Barrett. And right now, you'd have to imagine that just from what we're seeing, Fae, the favorite, she's undefeated, taking on the 3-1 Ashley Barrett. What can you tell us about this fight, Adam?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty tough fight to call, I'll be honest with you, James, just because Fae and Barrett both don't have much experience. Fae 3-0. She has fought for CFFC, which is obviously a good promotion. Ashley Barrett's fought for Cage Titans and some of those other promotions in the Northeast, 3-1 record. Yeah, I mean, I think they're both, pretty similar experience. The one thing I noticed, though, is Faye has not fought in 2 years. So I wonder, what she's been doing on the time off. Barrett has been staying a little bit more active. She just fought recently. So that's something to keep in mind. It's tough, James. I feel like Faye's probably the more talented fighter overall, but Barrett does have more recent fight experience. So honestly, man, I feel like it could go either way. Yeah. But, Faye with the undefeated record, James, you'd have to imagine she is the A side in this fight. So I'm with you. I'm just saying, that 2-year layoff kind of worries me a little bit because they're both only 21 years old. They're both super young. So they're both getting better. It just makes me wonder, has she been getting better with time off? Has the other girl been getting better with the in-cage experience? That part's hard to play. It's hard to say, but I'm going to lean towards Faye to win the decision here, James, and win the belt.
Yeah, you're exactly right. These two are pretty much even, and even the loss that Barrett had, it was a split decision loss, right? So it's not like she got finished or it's a decisive setback, so to speak. Coin flip fight. I think I'm also going to go Faye again, just because of I think she's just a little bit better in terms of some of the stuff that you've seen. But this is probably the closest fight on the card, and that's why they're fighting for a title here, the vacant strawweight title. Really looking forward to that. Okay, next fight we're going to talk about. You referenced him there. Julian Reza going to be taking on Tom Kaiser, and Reza, like you mentioned, a training partner of Glover Teixeira. Reza 3-0, Kaiser 6-1. What can you tell us about this exciting welterweight fight?
Yeah, it should be a good fight, and I think the winner would go pro. And the other fight too with the women's fight, you'd imagine these fighters, if they win the belt, will go pro. So Reza, James, like you said, 3-0. He's only 21. He's training with Glover Teixeira. That's invaluable. Glover has so much knowledge of the sport. Imagine training with one of the greatest fighters in the world and getting all that knowledge firsthand every day. You'd imagine this kid's getting better. And again, 3-0. So look him up. He has wrestling experience. He's got 3 wins in MMA so far, and also a couple stoppage wins. It's nice to see, including a 3rd-round win, which is good to see because he's got the card to carry him in there. Again, I just like the fact he's training at Danbury in Danbury with Glover. I think that's great. Now Kaiser is interesting. So he's 30 years old. He actually started fighting, James, in 2012, but took 7 years off and didn't fight until 2019. So you just wonder, what was he doing during that time? I just wonder what he was doing. Looking into his background, he's a wrestler. Good wrestling, big, strong dude, no doubt about it. Only one loss recently, too. So I think this guy's actually not bad. This is actually, again, a really well-matched fight. I think both the amateur title fights are very well-matched in this card. But, James, I got to go with the younger guy, the undefeated guy. You've got to go with Julian Reza to win this fight. I think it's going to be a close fight, though, so I'm thinking it's probably decision. I think I'll go, the distance here. It is an amateur fight, title fight, but it's only 3 rounds. So I think it'll go to the 9 minutes. They're only 3-minute rounds in amateur. Kaiser's good, but I think Reza is better, and I think he'll get the job done in this one, James.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Maybe look at the over in this fight if you're looking to bet this one. But I like Reza as well. My only concern here is you look at the level of opposition. They're all guys making their pro debut, so it's easy to look good when you're fighting that type of subpar competition. Kaiser does have the experience. He's got 7 fights compared to just 3. So that's one thing to sort of keep in mind when you're looking at picking this fight or betting this fight. I'm going to go Reza as well. Obviously, they see something in him. He is the A side. You would think he's a younger guy. They want to push him. No offense to Tom, but he's 30. I don't think they're really investing too heavily in him. Although great test here for Reza. But and Maverick, by the way, great matchmaking in general. You look at all their cards. That is one of those promotions that when their fighters reach the highest level, they're ready because they've had those battle tested opponents. But I'm going to go Reza by decision as well. I'm totally with you on the same page here. Okay, let's get to the main event. Really excited for this one. Olawale Bamboos taking on Stephen Regman, and it's both fighters have not fought in a very long time here. Bamboos, of course, you remember his UFC stint. He fought the likes of, let me just go through it here, Paulo Costa, Alessio Di Chirico. Last time I checked, both of those are in the UFC fighters. Cesar Ferreira, who's now in PFL, lost Uriah Hall, and also fought Daniel Sarafian. Whatever happened to him? That's another name. But those are all like solid fights, solid opponents in the UFC. Stephen Regman as well has fought some interesting vets on the regional scene. Who you liking here?
Interesting fight, man. I think it's going to be a great fight. Bamboos obviously extremely explosive, James. All of his wins are in the first round, 6 of them by first round stoppage. But, James, we've seen time and time again, after that first round, this guy really starts to fatigue in his fights. And he kind of reminds me of like a guy like Overeem, kind of like a glass cannon. Like he can dish it, but can't necessarily take it. Because you look at the 4 losses, 3 are by stoppage. He definitely has a chance to win this fight in the first round. And I would imagine most people would think that's going to happen here. But I look at Redmond, and I'm looking at his record. Again, a very experienced guy, James. He's fought some good competition. Lost to Kyle Dawkins in his last fight. Last I checked, Kyle Dawkins is doing great things in the UFC. Lost to Antonio Arroyo. I mean, that guy didn't do great in the UFC, but still not a bad loss. You look at his record, James, only 1 knockout loss to Daryl Horcher, a former UFC vet, in the 3rd round, too. So it's not like he's going out there getting blasted in the first round. And he actually has a lot of knockout wins himself. So I think Bamboos in the first round will have the advantage. But if he can't finish him, I think Regman comes back and wins in the 2nd or 3rd round by knockout. So I'm gonna go against the odds, James. If we don't have the odds, I imagine Bamboos would be favored, though. I'm actually gonna go with Stephen Regman, James. Weather the storm, come back with a spectacular 2nd round comeback finish.
Yeah, it's really interesting because Bamboos, like you said, has not fought since December of 2017. That's a really long time to be off. And Regman as well, he hasn't fought since September of 2019. So both have had layoffs, but you're right. I kind of look at Regman's record here, and he does have a win over Will Santiago, who's a Dana White Contender Series veteran. The thing that does concern me a bit, you mentioned Daryl Horcher. This guy's fought as low as lightweight, and Bamboos, I'm pretty sure, could never make lightweight. So I don't know what the deal is there. Maybe he's just, filling into his frame. Maybe it was just a bad cut for him. I don't really know. But I'm with you there. I mean, Regman has been more active, and even though it's still been 2 years, I kind of like that. And again, Kyle Dawkins, good fighter in the UFC. Antonio Arroyo, a guy that's also fought a number of times in the UFC here. I'm with you too. I think the dog here, Regman, could potentially go out there and get it done because of the fact that, like you mentioned, Bamboos really, I think his only way to win this is to get a quick finish. And I don't know if that's going to happen with that much time off. So I'm going Regman with the upset in the main event. And make sure you check out this fight, Spectation Sports. We're always streaming the best fights when it comes to the website. But if you live in the area, we always tell you guys this, go check out the card. Again, it's very rare to see UFC vets headlining a card on a regional show, especially in the area. So make sure you go check that one out. For myself, Adam Martin, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time here on Spectation Sports.